Oh, it's all about the money. It is March Money Madness. And you are listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Last week, we had Mark Dwyer on talking about 500bankruptcy.com. This week on the March Money Madness show, we have Brian K. Bowling. He is a certified full-time Cigna 6 black belt. I don't even know what that is, but Brian, tell me, what is it that you're doing? Because you're this top-notch consultant. Good morning, and thank you for being on Today with Pastor Jay.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. So Lean Six Sigma is a methodology for root cause analysis for manufacturing firms. It allows us to identify and reduce waste and improve productivity.
So you're the CEO of Lean Machine Consulting. But before we get into that, let's ask a little bit about you. Where are you from? Where were you born? Do you have a family? What's up?
Yep. So I was born and raised in Cleveland. Real strong Buckeye fan. Cleveland Brown, Cleveland Indian fan. Born and raised there. Went to school at the University of Akron. I have one son. He's 21, and he graduates from college this year.
Nice. So where are you now?
So I am currently in Illinois.
Very good. So let's talk. Where did you come up with this Lean Machine idea?
So Lean Machine, pretty much throughout my career, I was always in continuous improvement, wanting to get coaching, wanting to improve either person or myself. Lean Machine came from a process of just helping other corporations to improve. And Lean Six Sigma is that ultimate level of process. And Lean Machine is reduce waste and the highest productivity.
So before you got to Lean Machine, I hear that there's a story behind the story, but this isn't what you have always done. So let's talk about that.
Sure. So prior to Lean Machine, I owned and was the CEO of Platinum Concepts, which was a mortgage broker company. We did residential and commercial lending.
Nice. And you were the owner?
Yes, I was the largest corporation, black-owned in the state of Wisconsin. And from that point, there was some trouble back in 2008 when the mortgage bubble burst. There was some problems that I was indicted for mortgage fraud.
No way. So here you are. You go from being the largest black-owned mortgage lender.
Correct.
Broker?
Who is a broker?
You're a broker. Mortgage broker, where you are in the state, to be into an indictment. Now, how many employees did you have?
At that time, I was just shy of 60.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, and did very well.
So you did very well.
Yes, I did very well.
So what kind of money we talking about? You made like
we're not gonna say, but I just
okay. Can we get a range? You know, where you like
Let's say it was just over $1 million.
Oh, okay. I ain't mad at you. So here you are, over $1 million. You've got about 60 employees. You're in the mortgage broker business, the largest, where you are, black owned, something that, I'm excited about, very happy about, to an indictment. Now, how did this indictment come about?
So at the time when the mortgage bubble was bursting, there was stated income loans. These were loans that was done all over the country, but there was no income that was required for verification. Unfortunately, the courts didn't see it that way. And so I was charged with overinflating income, even though income was not verified.
Wait a minute. So you were charged with overinflating income when you didn't even have to provide income verification to get a loan.
Exactly.
How does that happen?
Well, I believe that the application should never have been used. The application that was used was for a full document loan.
Mm-hmm.
We should have had a total separate loan application for a stated income. The application for full document loan states on there that you verify the income. And that is why I end up pleading guilty and taking a plea deal.
Okay, I'm going to pause just one moment right here, Mark, because thank you, Pastor. He's saying that you're echoing a lot. Okay.
So what would you like me to do?
No, I think you're fine. Pastor Jeff, we're not hearing on this end. I've got somebody else that's listening in. So it may be on your end, possibly, that there's an echo. Okay. All right. So we're going to keep going and see how it goes. All right.
Okay.
So we were just talking about. All right. You ready, Mark? All right. So here we are. You at the top of your game. Over $1 million in revenues. These employees, and you were indicted. Oh, how many counts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10?
Two.
Two?
Yeah. Because the funds were transferred from one state to the other, so that was considered wire fraud.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so that made it a federal case.
Okay. He's saying, I'm not echoing, but Brian is echoing. Huh. All right. So we're just going to keep going because if it's being recorded, okay, for us to go on the radio, he's going to check it out real quick. Yep. It doesn't let you look at it. Okay, that's all right. As long as you picking up clear audio, we're okay. I'm sorry, guys, for those who are watching and listening. If he's echoing, we're not getting any echo on this end, and I've got to have a clear recording. So apologies. This show is going to air in 2 weeks on the 14th of March on WNZF News Radio. You can also catch it on my podcast on that Monday by going to todaywithpastorj.com and clicking on podcast. You'll be able to hear the show. If you would like to have a recording, I'll be more than happy to send it to you prior to then. All right. What was my last question? Keep up, Brian. Keep up. All right. So, all right. You ready, Mark? Here we are. 2 counts, wire fraud, all this other kind of foolishness. You were married, had a son, wall come crashing down. You pled guilty because you really didn't have a choice. What were your other options if you didn't plead guilty? You go to trial. Don't they scare you with that kind of stuff?
Absolutely.
They're like, if you don't take a plea, doesn't matter if you're guilty or not. Take a plea, or we're going to give you X, Y, and Z.
Yes. And I know people who tried to go to court, they lost, and you just get a lot more years. So while I didn't agree with what was going on, it was a reduced amount of years, and I felt like it would just be best for me to do that for me and my family at the time.
Wow. Okay. So now you're in prison.
Yes.
Big black guy in prison. You know I have to ask the question.
I know you.
You know the question coming. What happens when you drop the soap? Is that like a real story? I mean,
because I was at a prison camp. So, which is much different than being at a medium or a high. There wasn't even a fence around the facility that I was at. So it was much different. They would probably refer to this as a country club prison.
Oh, well, that's good. So, okay. So you had high dollar. So you did, white collar crime kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was considered white collar crime, yes.
Wow.
Yes,
so what kept you from leaving the facility?
Knowing that if I got caught and I left, I was going to get more time.
Oh, yeah. I guess that is a motivator. Yeah. But it's still, so were you convicted? Is that a felon? That's a felony, I'm guessing?
That is correct. It is.
Wow. That's crazy. So here you are making all this money, all these employees, something that had nothing to do with what you did, but just the processes. Now, were you the only one during this time?
No.
There was like this?
Well, see, the thing is that's how the loan was done. But there was people all over the country. I just felt like the way that I was treated in Wisconsin, it just is what it is. So I just leave it there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So no one else got charged. They used the same application that you used, the same processes that you used, and you're the one that was charged with the crime. Were they just looking for? You can't even speak to that because you don't even know if they were just looking for someone. So how did that? Did someone just rat you out? Call up the FBI and say?
I did have customers who just really, and that is basically what happened. I had a couple customers that indicated that they did not understand their loan process. And I did have two other employees who were indicted but got probation because they were the ones who actually did the loan. Everything rolled up to me as the owner of the company.
Ah, okay. That's unfortunate. We're going to talk about that. How you went from riches to rags, so to speak, and how you are making your way back now, because this is about March Money Madness. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch your dial. You are listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Back in, and we're just going to talk about the effects that had on you, and how do you pull yourself up after spending 31 months in prison, regardless if it was a country club or not. You were away from your family. I want to talk about how your church helped you, and how your church impacted you, and how your faith helped you, and how you are, for people to look past their circumstances. Okay?
Sure.
You good? All right. We're going to do some. Now we're going to start talking about the positives.
Okay.
We'll talk about your black belt.
Okay.
All right. So hold on. Can you get me? Who sings that song? Everybody was kung fu fighting.
That was.
He gonna look it up for me. So I want to come in with that. And
and
then
is that Bill Withers?
Bill Withers?
Was it Phil Withers?
Bill.
Carl Douglas. Carl
Okay.
Douglas.
Okay.
Introducing the F.
So this is going to be fun. Oh, you see how I'm always doing something crazy, Brian, right?
Yeah.
I want to wait till I get to the
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
All right, so maybe go to the last slow part, the oh. I like that part. Actually, start with that. Is that the flute part? Let me hear that. Yeah, the last one. The last part. Brian, you see what I'm trying to do? Then we're going to talk about Sigma 6 black belt. And we're going to get into that because you really had to kung fu fight a lot of things. Yeah, and then we're going to talk about you being a licensed life coach and all that kind of stuff. Okay. I'm ready. Welcome back to Today with Pastor Jay, and we have a phenomenal story here today on the line. We have Brian Bowling, and he is a full-time Sigma 6 black belt leader, and he had to do some kung fu fighting in his life, spending 31 months in federal prison, jail, camp, call it whatever you want to call. I can't even imagine doing 31 years away from your family, away from your
31
son.
months.
31 months. I preach that correction. Yeah, that's a whole lot of time.
That
difference,
is,
right?
that is. Yes.
Look, it might have felt like 31 years though.
Yeah. It probably.
Yeah. So how did you manage? I mean, we had a conversation the other day. You talking about how your church and different things kind of helped you out. Was it your faith that got you through?
Definitely. Because to be honest, the way that everything happened, I didn't feel like I should have been there. And I really asked God, what was the purpose? What is it that you want me to learn from this? And I went through and really the answer that came out to me was I needed to fear him more. And it was a service that I went to that very first day that I went to prison, and that was the message. And from that point on, I just spent my time really looking at how can I honor him and help other people, and that's what I did.
Well, I know we spoke yesterday about how you had given so much to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
community, had given so much to your church. When you were making all this money, you were
Yes,
still a
yes.
giver,
I
and
was, yes.
you shared with me how you of course you went through a divorce. It happens. It's hard
Yes,
when
yes.
one of the spouses go to prison. It's hard, and it does split
Hmm.
up a lot of marriages. So tell me what members of your church did for you during that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. And it was incredible. During the good times, I did give. I gave, I helped people, and it was just really karma because in my lowest point of need, my church family showed up. During my divorce, my wife at the time decided that she was no longer going to bring my son to see me. And for just about a year and a half, every month, my church family brought my son to come and see me once a
Are you
yeah,
serious?
and it was absolutely incredible, incredible.
So
That's what maintained
your
my
church
relationship
family.
with my son.
Wow.
Yeah,
Churches, it's time for us to step up, step up.
yeah,
Now, I
yeah.
would do something like that. That's just me.
Hmm.
That's what we used to call old church. Back in the day, my I'm gonna get a little personal, tell a story. My mom shot my dad when I was about 6 years old. He used to beat her. That's a whole nother story. He
Hmm.
survived, but in the meanwhile, she didn't have to go to jail. She was a victim of abuse, physical abuse.
Okay.
But when they came and picked her up, it was the church that kind of stepped in and took care of us while she was gone.
Yeah, yeah. And that was the
Yeah.
same here.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm telling you, having that great foundation and having that church family to help you and get you through, and they brought you to see your son for another year and a half, that is
Yeah, yeah.
phenomenal.
Every month,
So
absolutely.
it kept you going.
It kept me going. And that right there, the other thing for me that God really showed me when I had nothing, He provided everything for me while I was there. I mean, you're talking about a person flourishing. I didn't have to worry about anything. He took care of everything. It was really a blessing.
Amen.
Yeah.
So now you're out. How long you've been out?
So it was 2013, January 2013.
So a little bit. Do you have the stigma of because you have been to prison and that you're a convicted felon that people treat you and look at you differently? How are you able to build now your wealth and build your business and your consulting business with that going on?
Well, I don't. I'm very transparent with people, and I sent you my resume. I've worked for some very large corporations, and I've had very good corporate success. Um, when I look at it, for the things that I've been able to do, my education could not be taken away.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I learned. So I just stay positive and humble. I had to start from the beginning at the very bottom.
So what
And I
did you
think-
do from the beginning at the bottom?
So
So
I
you went work at
once-
McDonald's. I mean, what you do? You get out.
And I worked in a position for about $15 an hour at a company. Yeah,
That's still good though.
well,
straight out of prison.
look at it is. But look at the income that I left.
That's true. Good point.
Okay, so we look at that comparison. I started from the bottom, and that's where so many people get it wrong. That we don't want to be humble. We got to start over. And I had a game plan. I started from the bottom and worked my way up again. I'm a leader. I'm an alpha male, and I'm educated. So I just use those things to prove myself. And that's what I did. I started from the bottom, and I started working my way up again. And I continue to educate myself.
Okay.
And I did the things that I needed to do. I stayed away from trouble. But my son was my motivation. You know, I lost 3 years of being in his life.
Mm.
And everything that I wanted to do was to rekindle my relationship with him. And I had a great childhood. And I just wanted to make sure that he had that same childhood that I did.
That is pretty cool. So what do you say to people that are maybe situations like you? Like I said, this is March Money Madness, and how you rebuilt your life. Everything was taken away from you, and now you have your own consulting business. You're certified in several things, and you beat the odds. Not to mention, I've got to point out, my listeners on the radio don't know, but those that are watching me on social media realize this, but you're a black man. Let's just be real.
I am.
A black man with 31 months in federal prison, with convicted of something you didn't do, having to bear the shame of that. And you're still building a business, and now you're building your brand. I'm proud of you. I think it's great.
But thank you. Thank you. I did have
And I know your son is too.
Yeah, he really is.
Is he?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So let's talk about your support system.
Yeah, so I had tremendous support from my family and my church. So this was definitely not something that was done alone. Tremendous support. My character in help from people who knew me. They didn't give up on me. That was the other thing. And people stepped up in ways that you just couldn't imagine.
Wow.
So knowing I had that support made it much easier.
So what do you say to those that don't have that support system like you have, who maybe don't have the family and don't have the church, and maybe don't even have the life that you had before, the successes and, that we're giving, those that have been selfish and that was down and out, but then decided the Lord just happened to turn their life around and place them on a new path. How can they progress and then go forward and do something different in life? What advice would you give to them?
Well, there's a book by Viktor Frankl called Man's Search for Meaning. And the point in his book is to find your why for living. And whatever that is, mine happened to be my son. I wanted to get out. It kept me out of trouble. It made me focus on being a better man so that I could provide for him when I got out. So it is to have your own value for living. And if you can do that, you have that meaning. It can drive you.
All right. Well, we got to take another break. Don't go anywhere. Do not touch that dial. You are still listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Minutes. Okay, so we have 4 minutes. I've got to thank my sponsors, and then you're going to have about 3+ minutes. What is it that you want to share that you haven't been able to share? You can think. You don't have to tell me. You can just think about that. What is it that you want to share? How can someone get in the consulting business? That's a good idea.
Okay.
Because sometimes those don't have the education, they may not have the skill. I've seen people build something from nothing all the time, and you've done that, and you're on your way back, and you're probably doing it with a different perspective too.
Oh, without a doubt.
Man, I got to ask you about trusting people too, because that's going to be kind of hard. You had to fear God, but how are you on trusting people? Oh, God got to help me with that one. Oh my goodness. All right, let me make sure I have .org. And I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. That would be 500bankruptcy.com, Mark Dwyer with 500bankruptcy.com. Listen, if you're thinking about bankruptcy, call Mark Dwyer or go to 500bankruptcy.com. If you're looking for the perfect play in the stock market, go to tradecoaches.org. They're going to be my guests coming up in a couple of weeks. So you're going to have trade coaches. And also the FloridaMortgageCenter.com. Steve Verrier, the FloridaMortgageCenter.com. He's also going to be a guest this week. So not this week, this month, as we're talking about March Money Madness. It's all about money, how to make money, how to create wealth, whether or not you need to file bankruptcy, what you're going to do to buy a house, and how you can work the stock market. So we're going to have some good shows for the entire month of March. Mortgage Center. All right, you ready? I'm going to give a thank you and a shout out to my sponsors, 500bankruptcy.com, 500bankruptcy.com, tradecoaches.org, and the FloridaMortgageCenter.com. I'm going to tell you right now, listen, if you're thinking about bankruptcy or you don't know where you are in your finances, go to 500bankruptcy.com and get all the information. He's got a free book. You know what I say? If it's free, it's for me. And right now, all the stuff that's going on in the stock market, you don't know what to do. Go to tradecoaches.org. If you're looking for the perfect play, go to tradecoaches.org. And also want to give a shout out to my good friend, my very long time sponsor, Steve Verrier, the FloridaMortgageCenter.com. Call Steve, and there it is. All right. So, Brian, that's an interesting story that you're telling. You go from all of that to now you're rebuilding your wealth as a consultant. You took all the education, the training, and the skills. You probably learned some skills in prison that you're using today, too. Look, every opportunity is an opportunity to learn something new, right?
True.
But how are you? I'm going to ask you a personal question about trusting others. I know you learned to fear God more, but trusting people, your inner circle must be real tight.
Very tight. We call each other on what it is. It's very trust, but it was earned. And these relationships have been there for quite a while. I have a very tight circle.
So you're building your wealth back, but probably with a different perspective.
That is correct.
It is. So how long have you had your consulting company now?
Well, it's just about a year now.
Oh, so this is new, and
It is new.
It's going well.
Yeah, I can't complain. It's a lot of hard work that you have to get it. And COVID has kind of slowed things down a little bit as well.
Right.
But you find ways to keep going.
So how you do? You do well with money management? You got any tips or tricks?
Yeah, I would just say live below your means.
I like it.
It's I would just say live below your means.
That's a good
the
one.
biggest one.
Live below your means. I'll think about it. No, I do. I do. It's funny. Look, I'm a frugal person. Most people don't know that. Listen, I really and truly am. Sometimes you have to do that to get where you want to go.
Absolutely.
Look, if you want to get somewhere, you want to do something different. But I want to encourage you and want to encourage my listeners to listen. You may have done it, but you're not what you did.
Exactly.
You got to erase yourself and pull yourself from what your past is. I woke up this morning on the way in and I was thinking, my mercies I knew every morning. I get to start every day with a clean slate. I'm so proud of you, how you were able to go through that and to still get out and start your own company, your own business. No matter what people may think about you or say about you, you're doing it and you're rebuilding your wealth.
Absolutely. And having a positive attitude, and I think you nailed it on the head. We make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And as long as you can realize that and you have it in your heart that you want to do something good and do something positive, you really can do it. And I wanted to add one thing. Going into consulting, Simon Sinek has a book called Find Your Why. If you can find your purpose for living and you find your purpose for what you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. And so when you find your why, you can do anything because that'll continue to motivate you, and you won't give up if you're doing what you truly love to do.
Well, thank you for that. Do you have a phone number that people can get in contact with you? Because there may be some people that go, hey, Brian, I relate to your story. I connect with your story. Or maybe I just want to connect with you to learn a little bit more about you. Or maybe you can offer some assistance or some of your consulting services.
Sure. And if anyone
you are a
wants
life coach, too. I want to mention that, too. You're also a life coach.
Absolutely. And I've received a lot of experience. I've helped a lot of people as well. God has definitely given me a gift in that area. And if anyone wanted to reach me, you can call 630-422-7252.
And that's 630-422-7252.
Correct.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate having you on the show. You have been amazing with Lean Machine Consulting at 630-422-7252. What a story from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. God bless you. Thank you so much. And you know what I say, guys? Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? Today, you are going to find your research for your meaning of living and find your why. But more importantly, you're going to call Brian at 630-422-7252. God bless you. Ooh, I better keep this on so I can say thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
I hope someone call you.
Yeah, me too. If not, I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, you just never know. I'll have you on. Thanks again. And when you're in Florida next time, look me up. Hit me up.
I absolutely will. When you have everything edited, will you send me a copy? Or how does that work?
Yeah, I can send you a copy. It'll be an MP3
appreciate
format. I can send you a copy. This video is going to be available. You'll be able to see it on my Facebook, just so you know.
Okay.
So as soon as we close out, it'll be on my Facebook. You'll be able to see it.
Okay.
But yeah, the edited copy, the version, I'll get it from Mark. But let me see. Your show is going to air. Let me just do this. Write this down real quick.
Okay.
So that way I won't have to give Mark any more work. On March the 15th, because your show is going to air on the 14th. On March the 15th, if you go to my website, todaywithpastorj.com, click on podcast. It'll take you to my podcast, and your show will be the next one that's in line. It's always available on the Monday after it airs. Isn't that correct, Mark? Mark didn't know I knew that.
Okay, so I have it written down.
He does a great job. I need to do more with my own podcast, so I'm going to get out there and start doing something. God bless you. You take care.
Likewise. Thank
you,
Mark.
He nodded his head. We're going to get a picture. I've got to figure out how to get a picture of something up there with him. And some of like his Star Wars stuff going on. He's getting married soon on March the 19th. Let me look at my calendar and make sure that's the right date. Hold on. No. It is. Yeah, he's getting married on March the 19th. This month.
Well, congratulations.
That was my first job to marry him off when I got.
Okay. Well, excellent.
My husband and I are looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it because I asked my husband if he wear a suit. So I get my husband kind of cute, so I'm looking forward to this. All right, you take care.
Well, good. Thank you. You have a great day.